Lights, camera, beer.
Hollywood's a messy business. I
have
am a wealth of information.
Don't go there.
It's completely useless information.
Primarily critical. Primarily critical. Primarily critical.
Primarily critical.
You know, it's an education. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Primarily Critical of Movies Amateur Party. This would be it.
If you have not seen this film, we suggest that you do so before listening any further.
Because we have spoilers, trivia, and opinions like crazy, and we can't wait to share them.
Good, bad, new, old, weird, or gross.
We pass judgment on them all.
Today, a bad joke is simply a good joke told to the wrong audience. My name is Steve. I'm here with
Phil.
and
John.
today we're covering Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot.
Yes.
And this is John's pick.
Yeah.
This is my pick. Yes, I picked this because, well, as I always say, I watched the trailer and it looked interesting to me. I'll say this right off the hop. There was not nearly as much comedy as I anticipated in this movie based on the trailer.
Right.
This movie it was much more serious than I thought from watching the trailer.
Yeah. I don't recall seeing the trailer, but I found it hilarious. Some of it very hilarious.
Yeah, there was some definitely humor, but there was at times I almost felt it lacked a little comic relief. It got heavy for lengthy times without something that I kind of wished would just kind of give you that laugh in between. But that being said, I actually thought it was a good movie in the end.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought it was a good movie. It's at the heart of it. It's I guess a movie about addiction.
yes.
Being a paraplegic, like his paralysis was from the waist up, I guess. And
Yes.
No.
Paraplegic.
He
was
called
a quad,
it
right?
quadriplegic. He was mostly paralyzed in his arms. Right. So he
so he had minimal function with his arms.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Poor guy.
well, it got better, but he got into a car accident. He was with a guy. They were both wasted. Jack Black plays the other guy in the actor.
Yeah.
And at age 21, he gets into that accident and becomes paralyzed. And
Yes.
what a young age to deal with that, obviously. And
Yeah.
it's a very heavy movie a lot of times. Yeah, it's very emotional, man. By the end of the movie, I was, wow, it's a heavy stuff.
Yeah.
He's going through the 12 steps of addiction, right? And
Yeah.
by the 9th step
program, yeah.
he has to forgive people, and that was really heavy. All of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know at points it felt like it was a documentary on AA.
It really did. It really did. And sorry, you have something more to say, Steve?
I don't have anything more to say.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, I felt like I've never seen a movie that actually was so into AA and the steps and stuff like that. Like I've never really, we've seen tons of movies where people go to AA.
Or rehabs, yeah.
Or rehabs, and they even dabble in, but this one really went into that 12-step program, like in a way that I never thought a movie really would. And I'm not sure if that was a great angle to go with, but there was powerful moments in it. So I'm not sure it was a bad one either.
But a lot of the humor came from the fact that the book, I guess, I don't know the history of AA. It deals with religion, and Jonah Hill, the actor, plays Donnie, who's like the sponsor, but like the leader of this.
The guru, sort of.
Yeah, and he keeps referring to your God as anything you want it to be. And I thought that was hilarious because our main character, John Callahan, played by Joaquin Phoenix, is awesome, of course. He worships
the crotch of
Raquel Walsh, right? Is that right?
Raquel Walsh.
Yeah, Walsh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
I don't even know who that is.
Well, the I like the angle is it's whoever you believe in something that gets you through,
Yeah.
and I guess that I like the fact because Danny's a gay man, and
Donnie.
what an interesting guy that was in the movie, right? Like his
Yeah.
character.
It's a very interesting character.
And played the acting in this movie was great, of course, but
I think this movie would be really powerful to people that have been involved in AA and have gone through the 12-step program. I think this would mean have significance, a lot of significance to them. To your point, though, about you need to believe in a higher power. I had a friend back when I was quite young, in my early 20s, that was dealing with addiction and was in the 12-step program. And he went to AA meetings, and he said he talked to me specifically about this higher power thing. And one of the things that he said is that a lot of people at that time, now this is back in the 80s, a lot of the people at that time, you know what they were using as their higher power? Cigarettes.
oh, I thought you were going to say Satan, but cigarettes.
No, cigarettes. And AA meetings back in the 80s, you could smoke indoors back in the 80s. And these meetings were just packed with, like, remember, you're dealing with a group of people that are dealing with addiction. Yet cigarettes at that time were not considered a problem addiction, right? So these people are sucking them back one after another. And it actually was almost, he said it was almost like it was an encouraged thing. Like, if you really can't find a higher power, just think about cigarettes. And then it was like, for them, it's like, I'm just having a taste of God here. You know, it's a taste of God, you know? but whatever, it worked.
If it
worked,
gets you,
back then.
it gets you back to productive in your life and back into society, because clearly.
Now, my guess is those people never quit smoking.
Well, we'll never know, right? We'll never know.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of the acting in this movie? I was floored.
Yeah. The Joaquin Phoenix seems to surprise me quite a few different movies.
Yeah. Have you seen Joker?
I have.
Yes, I just saw it recently. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wow. Like he's done like, and I like his choices in movies. Like he's just going for some really tough stuff, right? Biopics, like
Johnny Cash.
I mean, Johnny Cash.
Yeah, he didn't walk the line.
Yep.
And
and he won the Oscar for that, I think, that year, right? And as far as I recall. But
I thought he did incredible in this movie. I thought he did a really good job. He wasn't that because, you know, he wasn't that open book emotionally. He was reserved, which you needed him to be in this movie. You needed this guy to be a little fucked up, a little he wouldn't like try to think of somebody who would just totally failed in this role, but I don't know. It's not coming to mind.
Well,
but anyways, he was perfect for it.
On a like, if you guys want to see, there's a doc they made back, I think in 2009, called "Touch Me Someplace I Can Feel," and it's on Amazon Prime, and you get to see the real life John Callahan. And man, Joaquin did a great job.
Did you watch that? Did you watch that documentary film?
I just started watching it, and I gotta finish it, but I think the movie pretty much nails him well. Like it picked him for really well.
I was going to ask you guys whether you were familiar with John Callahan before you watched this. I was not at all, not even a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. Like I remember probably seeing some of his cartoons in here and there, but
I looked up his cartoons after the movie while the credits were rolling. I was scrolling through images on Google, and man, that guy is twisted funny, like really.
Yeah, it's like edgy Far Side.
Yeah,
you know, it's like Far Side, but just take it that one step further. That Far Side never really dove over that cliff, you know.
Yeah, like what Family Guy did for Simpsons. Simpsons
exactly
went so far, and then Family Guy went further. South Park went further, and he was that guy, I guess. And what I liked about it, he loved the criticism he got, all the hate mail and stuff.
Yeah,
Because
he
people
lived on it. Yeah.
Some of it, people just didn't know he was already handicapped, and they were saying, "You're making fun of the disabled, and you just walk a mile in his shoes." And he's like, I am walking the mile in the shoes already, my friends. So.
Yeah. My favorite. Do you guys have a favorite comic that you saw in the movie, or otherwise of his? I really like the two severed heads. Remember that? Okay, so there's two wheelbarrows, and they each have one severed head in them, and one of the severed heads has an eye patch.
Yeah.
And the other severed head says, "You are an inspiration to me because of what you're living through," right? And they're both severed heads. So it's just wow. I love that stuff.
It's really dark and it plays on the awkward stuff, I suppose. There's a one that the movie's named after is the police, I guess, are trying to get this wanted man, and he says, "Don't worry, you won't get far on foot." And it's a wheelchair in the sand.
Yeah.
It's basically saying, he's a cripple. We can get him. And he could make fun of that, right? Because, well, he didn't care. I would imagine being in his state would free you up to say, "I don't give a shit what you think. What worse things can happen to me in my life?" At 21,
I've already gone through. Yeah, exactly.
And they show throughout the movie, it's not easy. Like he had a colostomy bag. He needed a lot of help to be to live, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's back to the favorite comic. I really like the two Ku Klux Klan guys. And he in the movie they portrayed that as he had some help from a woman that said something about that, but I kind of liked it because it just took them down to like a couple of wussies who just are like, oh yeah, I like them warm and soft like this, it's like
right out of the dryer.
Right out of the dryer, it's like it just brings a side to it. Like you just think of these guys as just fucking evil, mean, like, but yet they're just wussies like the rest of us, they're just insecure and they care about their fluffy fucking sheets, like that was great.
Yep, that was a good example. Yeah,
it's different humor, and it's dry and it's edgy and it's great. It's great stuff for sure.
You know what? I take note of like the way that the Joaquin flies around that wheelchair. Like every scene, like anytime he's on it, he's weaving through traffic, and the movie jumps around through time a bit. And you don't understand, I guess, at the beginning of the movie when he's talking to those kids and he's whipping down the street, he falls out of the chair, that later on that was going to be the ending of the movie. And basically, because you think he's just drunk and he's doing that because he's wasted and he's flying around.
Right.
No, he was always pedal to the metal.
That's just how he lived. Yeah.
It was always like that. But I mean, he could have been drunk. Who knows? Because I'm not sure whether he actually
gave
up.
He was sober and he just was that way. There's a scene where he's just weaving through traffic in the middle of an intersection. It's like, that's crazy. Is it just because he didn't he didn't care. I thought that was hilarious, and that was humorous to me because he's got headphones on, he's got his, and he's flying through traffic in his chair. That was some funny, humorous parts to me.
Yeah. Well, and this whole movie was, I did not know this, and I'm not sure. Did you guys take note if at the beginning of the movie this is based on a true story? Because I didn't feel like it did say that, and really it kind of, I was hit with like a truck at the end when they show the picture of the real guy.
Yeah, it's based on his life story.
That was the only moment that I realized, oh my God, this actually happened. I thought this was a fictional movie right up until that moment.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Did you guys know going into this was based on a true story?
I started cluing in halfway through the movie.
But how did you clue in that it was based on a true story?
I think I saw the trailer and I knew it was based on a true story or something. I heard something.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It wasn't quite I don't want to say this.
Hollywood enough?
It was just boring enough that I was like, this actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, and actually, I was worried about this movie because like I said, the comic relief and stuff. I was hoping for that, and I started feeling like, whoa, this is really getting a lot darker, and there's not a comic relief happening, and this is getting kind of boring at some point. Like, but then it was really once I had I adjusted my brain to going, okay, the comic relief is not coming. That's not what this movie's about. And once I made that switch, I'm like, okay, this is real serious material. Then I actually really engaged in the movie in a different capacity than I was anticipating, and I enjoyed it. It was actually, it was a great, a learning curve for me, and watching this stuff, it was touching, it really, engaged me in a different way than I thought it would, put it that way.
They really get real deep into the reasoning, the motivations for him in the movie. I thought, by the end of the movie, he's bared thin, and he's really dug. And the scenes where he's talking to his mother, even though his mother, he never got to meet her, and he's just talking to the illustration of her. Whoa, man, that hits you in the feels. Damn.
Yeah.
And then and probably the heaviest moment is when he talks to Dexter, Jack Black, the scene where they're in the back in the kitchen, and he forgives the guy that ultimately, I guess, caused the accident, but they're both part of the reason why that happened, I guess.
Yeah.
It was some super painful awakening moments for him, where he's in this room full of other alcoholics, and everyone else in the room is waiting for him to blame his drinking on him being a cripple, right? And it's like, no, that's not what you need to be focusing on. You need to improve yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, he was a drunk before the accident happened.
Yeah. And
he continued on that way until he had that moment where he believes I guess in the movie he's depicted as seeing the ghost of his mother, or
that was a weird scene.
It was. And didn't he at some point later deny, like when he talked about that scene, he said he didn't see his mother? Like, I thought there was something really odd. He was describing that scene to, I think, Donnie.
Yeah.
And he left out the part of seeing his mother, which I thought was really odd. I thought, like, why didn't he told the story about
of the handprint, and he's like, I swear there was somebody there, right?
Right.
But then he didn't
say the mother appeared, right? So it really was, I thought that really odd. I couldn't make a reasoning for, like, why did that not happen, or like what? I don't know. It was a little quirky. I couldn't put reasoning to that one.
Now, Gus Van Sant is the director of this movie.
This guy.
Do you recognize that name, John?
Well, of course, for Drugstore Cowboy.
Drugstore Cowboy, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of my all-time Drugstore Cowboys, like in the I gotta say in my top 10. I've probably said that more than 10 times. So
really,
I gotta watch, but yeah, it's up there. Drugstore Cowboy is one of my favorites, and so I'll always remember him for that, for sure.
He's got a good way of really getting to the visceral, like the guts of a movie, like really hitting rock bottom, seeing people really when they're at their worst.
Yeah. Well, Good Will Hunting, that's another one.
Good Will Hunting, yeah. Wow. Interesting. We'll get into trivia later, but he's got a great body of work. Like, this movie is just wow, like a lot of heavy stuff. But I really believed Joaquin's acting. Like, I believed it. Like that scene when he's talking with Donnie, and Donnie knows that he's gonna die from AIDS. Heavy stuff again at the end, and then he's just talking to those kids on the street, like, "Hey, he died of AIDS, and this is how it was. This is what happened."
Yeah,
and the kids are like, let's.
Yeah, and this guy.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say he's got this terrible drawing of Donnie. all of his drawings are kind of terrible and also kind of awesome because you know how hard it is for him to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, and to that point, didn't you think it was weird that he's? Oh, sorry, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about that. I did watch the documentary about him, and I was just about to go into that. So never mind. Okay, I'll go with. I was going to say about Don.
Okay.
You're blending the two things together.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
I hear you.
But I was going to go to Donnie. Did you guys like early on in the movie? I thought Donnie is going to be at some point in the movie is going to become. He's going to be discredited in his role as the guru Jesus or something, right? Because he almost seemed like too pretentious, too rich, too and I didn't believe him, right? I kind of thought like, yeah, okay,
like he was a fake, he
was a fake, and he almost had, he was so Jesus-like and Christ-like that he'd talk, he had these. But he put these poses on and stuff like that, and he talked like it was almost like he was acting with his poses when he's saying stuff. It was almost like a drama, and so I thought this guy's a fraud, and part of this movie is that he's gonna get busted for being the fraud, right? But it didn't happen.
They didn't go that direction. No,
they didn't go that direction, and the direction they went, I thought was so much better. It was such a pleasant surprise that I thought Donnie is a rich kid.
Yeah.
He was a privileged guy, but he's suffering in big ways, and he's vulnerable too, and he shares his vulnerability. And then it kind of all brought that pretentious bullshit. It made sense that he was a spoiled, privileged, rich kid, and that's probably why he came across that way. But he's really dealing with real shit, and I thought they did that in a neat way. I thought that was like unpredictable. I didn't see that coming. And I liked it,
Yeah, and he says Donnie says at the end of the movie, he needed to be that guy, to be the savior guy to those people going through the steps, right?
Yeah. He needed to be the leader to all those piglets.
Piglets, he called them piglets, and
very oddly offensive.
He needed he needed Joaquin to finally. John to help him out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that was such
ultimately.
And this is the last time we're going to talk.
Gut wrenching, very emotional stuff.
Yeah.
Well done, like just handled so. And you don't see a lot of movies about people with disabilities in that light, like letting them be. Just like I don't think he wanted pity. He just wanted to be doing his thing.
Well, yeah, I think this movie is good for anyone that feels really marginalized in society, like feels like an outsider looking into society. He covers it from two different angles, from the addict and from the disabled person, right?
Yeah.
You're covering it from two very, outside marginalized people, and doing it in a very good way, like and in a redemptive way. I mean, it's a way of saying, hey. This movie's about looking at these marginalized people, and you can be disabled, you can be an addict, and you can be amazing, and that's tough material to cover in a movie, and I kind of think he pulled it off.
I think he did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that final scene when he's with those kids, skateboard kids, and they're setting up a ramp. And the very last scene is he takes his wheelchair and he tries to do that maneuver. And he totally wipes out. And it looked like he really was on that wheelchair.
It looked bad, yeah.
It looked like bad. Like, I hope he's insured. and then at the very end, it's like all the kids just lift him up again. Let's go again. He didn't treat him any differently. Like, you should feel like he's fragile or something. No, he didn't give a shit. What do you think?
It seems like he's getting all these strangers to just help him out with his pee bag.
He doesn't care. I love this. Like, and the kids are like learning a lesson too. That like, this guy's fun. This guy, a good guy. So what if he's in a wheelchair? He's rad. Or whatever the word of the day was.
Well, and I thought that was the perfect way to end that movie because we were so starved for that comic relief, for so long, and then it happened. And it was like the perfect ending because I literally had a smile on my face when the credits were rolling. Like, you know,
Yeah, because
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Of course he's gonna wipe out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And all the kids run over and they try and pull back. Oh man.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I love the whole wheelchair aspect. He's just ripping around. Like he's in fact he kind of like I can actually go faster than you, pedestrian.
Yeah.
He's showing off. Yeah.
Who's disabled now? He's just flying down the sidewalk and down. He didn't give a shit. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring in a little bit from because I did watch that documentary you're talking about
Sure.
him. What's his name again?
John Callahan.
Yes, I watched the documentary about him, and one of the things I found hilarious about this documentary, and if I was going to criticize the documentary, I'd probably bring this up, but he has this is real stuff, so this is not fiction. He goes out and he approaches women. And he's a famous cartoonist, and so he says, yeah, you know, you heard of me, and they're like, oh, really? And then they go, oh yeah, he is a famous cartoonist stuff, and he's looking now to go into nude drawings. He wants, would you be a model for me, you know? And he actually gets these young girls to come back, and they're standing, and he's like he's sitting there with his notepad, his paper and stuff, and he's going, no, raise your leg a little bit that way and stuff like this, right? And he's going to do all these different poses, and then you see the drawings that he draws. They're atrocious. They look like any of his other drawings. They're no, you know, this is not fine art, right? He didn't need to, like, really, you couldn't have come up that with your brain without actually getting them to do all this stuff, right? They didn't even look anything like the people that he was drawing, right? But
oh man,
you know, why not, right? I mean, why not?
His way to meet women? Is that what's going on there?
That's what I think. They never really said that in the documentary, but
I got to finish watching the doc. I mean, yeah, I can't comment on that, but
well, he seems like a really interesting dude.
I got to comment on this.
Sure.
Did you know, like at the very end of the movie, at the end of the credits, it's one of his songs he's singing.
Yeah.
And he's actually got an album out, and which I thought
in his documentary, all the music in his documentary is him and his music, and he's pretty good. I mean, it's folk music, which I love folk music. I feel badly because I know that his vocals. I read up a little bit. His vocals were affected from the paralysis, so there's imperfections there that you would know that if he didn't have the issues he had, they'd be beautiful, you know. And you really what you see is the potential that would have been there, you know. Excellent songwriter. And
I don't consider, like, even people that think are legends like Neil Young having the greatest voice ever. No. I get the feeling from his music and the lyrics and the atmosphere, the writing. It doesn't have to be pitch perfect, and so I get what he's after.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. I mean, it's good stuff.
I just thought that was so cool to see that. I had to stop the movie and he wrote that song. He's a musician too. It's awesome.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Interesting guy.
Yeah.
Sadly, he passed away in 2010, and it was due to I don't know if it was covered in the doc.
Bed sores. Well, no, the doc didn't cover that, but I read up on that. Yeah, it was complications due to bed sores, right? I mean,
so it goes to show you the care that you have to. His life was always, you know, not going to be easy, right?
Giant hassle, and the whole thing.
Wow. Yeah. He was a one of a kind, that guy.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask you guys this, though. Did you not think when he was young, so he died at 21, he got paralyzed at 21.
Yeah. The accident.
But did you not think he seemed, in the movie, to seem like a creepy older guy when he's talking to those young girls on the beach, and he's going to the party, and it's like,
no.
Did he seem like a 21-year-old, though?
Well, he's playing a 21-year-old, but
yeah,
he looked like he was in a constant state of being drunk. Like he was constantly
well,
drinking.
yes, but I mean, I'm a father of daughters, right? And so
Oh, you
maybe
thought
I'm
okay.
a little hypersensitive to this stuff. But I just thought his way around these women when they portrayed him, it just creeped me out, man. Like that would be the guy I would be like, tell him, I was like, stay the fuck away from that guy, right? Like
Well,
that's
true.
exactly, you know. And it's not like I have a thing against partiers or, you know, it's just the way. I don't know if it was Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of that young guy. I don't know what it was, but there was something I thought. Was it just me, or do you guys?
No, I could see where you're coming from. He's a young guy. He's just didn't look like he's like he said from the time he was 13 he was drinking, and so
Yeah,
he's inappropriate probably all the time. He's probably a mess all the time.
yeah.
And clearly,
But, hey, they obviously didn't go to a lot of trouble to age him up and age him down. You know, they just kind of let him act. You know, and maybe it didn't work so well for him being 20.
21.
But,
yeah.
But
Fair enough.
You know what? I bought into it. I didn't think about it too much. I thought the same as Phil. I was like, oh, he's just blasted, and that's why he's
Yeah. I mean, when I didn't even know when I watched it that he was 21 when that accident happened.
Yeah, because
So
it's a bit distracting,
watching the
right?
movie. Yeah, so watching the movie, I just assumed he was an older, creepy dude getting drunk, going to these parties and hitting on young girls.
Yeah, once
right?
again, the time jumping around. Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, and I'm not, now that I know the real story, I'm not sure they were actually fair to him in real life, because I don't think he would have been that older, creepy guy. But that's how it came across to me watching the movie, not knowing that he was actually 21.
Well,
so.
I'm sure he had a lot of wasted days where he doesn't remember what the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Should we get into this trivia?
Let's get into the trivia. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I have to stop the meeting.
Oh yeah. All right.
Let's start again. We only have 4 minutes left. Sorry, I'll send another link.
Sounds good.
Let's get into this. Let's get into the trivia.
Are we recording this whole time?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like a lot of all right.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
That was a lot of verbal wanking.
Yeah.
Director Gus Van Sant originally planned to make this movie in the 1990s, with Robin Williams starring as John Callahan.
Yes.
Well, too bad that didn't happen. Robin's no longer with us.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. That would have been a great to see how that would have went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
too bad.
And actually in the documentary there, Robin Williams speaks and talks a lot about him, and obviously Robin Williams held him in high regard. You know.
Yeah, and wow, look how long the director there, Gus Van Sant, sat on this opportunity to make this movie. It took like decades, almost, to get it done.
Well, Robin Williams spoke a little bit about that, and he said, I mean, you know, he's a comedian, right? And he said, well, there's independent movies, codependent movies. You know, he started making jokes about that. It's the bureaucracy of trying to get this movie out became such a headache that it's on hold for now. So Robin Williams didn't actually get to see this to fruition, but Robin Williams knew they held the rights to it. He said that. He says, we've got it. It's going to happen. He's kind of saying that, but that's when he started going to his jokes about independency and, you know, codependence.
I'm glad it got done at least, right? It got done.
It got done.
And with Robin, you know, a side note to Robin Williams, man, you thought the guy had it together and he had the most wonderful fun life, but in his private life, he was just had a struggle with addiction, with mental health issues.
Tearing it was all coming apart.
But his body of work is incredible. Robin Williams, man, we need to review more Robin Williams movies, man.
I feel like listening to enough podcasts on comedians and stuff, you start realizing that most comedians are
troubled.
are very troubled. You know, and you know, I'm not going to throw a name, but we all know one. and I think it speaks true. You know, I mean, there's issues there. It's difficult. It's a therapy. I think comedy is a therapy. You know,
comedy is a tough thing to do. I you know, like, and especially now, everything's got to be very PC and you know, like, how do you do it? It's so. I'm amazed by comedians and comedy writing. You know, it's a tough gig. And cartoonists and that kind of thing. To get back to the movie we're talking about, like difficult. You're gonna piss off someone. Basically, is what I'm saying. You're not gonna not everybody's gonna love you, but the art, the result is great stuff, right? So
yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I love this next piece of trivia. Jonah Hill considers this to be the best performance of his career, and you know what? I'd agree.
Sure.
I mean, I don't want to knock the guy. What he does really well.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of fucking, you know, nothing, not a lot of depth in his other roles.
No,
you know?
he comes from that like silly comedy movies, like Super Bad was one of them, right?
Yeah.
Where it's teenage kind of like movies, coming of age, what have you. And now he's taking on really heavy, serious roles. And this one, you barely know it's him. I think he really loses himself in this character, and he becomes this guy.
Yeah.
Got the long blonde hair going, and he lost weight, and he looks good. And
he did a supporting role in Moneyball, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that. Yeah. I mean,
I think he's capable. He's capable of getting pretty high up there.
He's proven
in the quality.
He's not a one-trick pony, not just like, he's got the goods. He's good, really good. And Joaquin Phoenix, man, the two of them together in this movie is a joy to watch. Great acting. It's just yeah. And I like Jack Black in his little role there. Like, you don't see Jack Black do that kind of movie. And
no.
Well, and I love watching these big names come together for an independent movie. You know, I mean, it's cool. Like, you know, I don't know what they got paid, but the budget wouldn't have been that, you know, that huge. But
this kind of movie always feels like a labor of love, right? You do it for your, you know, you got a job to do, but it's not this big action redundant movie that's been done and done and done to death. This is a special movie that you don't, you know, we need more of them, and you need this kind of talent to pull it off, and it's great.
Well, yeah, and I'm looking at the budget here. The budget says $3.5 million.
Yeah,
think about
change that.
So they spent that all up to get Joaquin Phoenix.
yeah. I mean, seriously, you got these big names. This was obviously people who were passionate about this movie. These people, because I mean, we're talking some pretty big names in here, and they're doing this, and they could be in other roles making a lot more money. You know.
Yeah.
So there's a passion in these people for this. You know.
You know what? From what I hear, Joaquin Phoenix stands to be very wealthy because there's plan to do sequels to the Joker movies, right?
Yeah.
So he'll make his big money doing those movies, and then hopefully he continues making these kind of movies. You make your money here, and then that affords you the opportunity to take all the time you want to do these special movies that only he can afford to do, or. You know what I mean?
It's a passion. That's right. Exactly. Like, you know,
he needs to cash out, cash in, get.
We all work our day jobs, but then we like also to do our stuff on the side, right?
And so, I hope he continues to do this kind of work because, it's great. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Gives him character and gives him depth and makes him a more interesting human being, you know?
And on that note, let's get into some gossipy, sexy stuff.
All right.
Rooney Mara and Joaquin Phoenix were dating during filming of this film.
You know,
she's the nurse or the
she was
social
like
worker? The airline then became
yeah. She's like she just appears like this angel that just floats in and just
it's true.
She kind of is like just this
Yeah,
pretty
she just
thing.
kind of floats in. Yeah, honestly, I think this happens way more often than anybody in Hollywood would want to admit. Where the two, the couple from the movie end up having relations while filming the movie.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it absolutely happens more.
You
than
probably
people
spend a
realize.
lot of time with these people, and then
Yeah.
things happen. You got a lot of downtime.
It's probably not a foregone conclusion, but I bet it happens like tons.
It does. Yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion because, as we know from Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing, pretty much hated each other through the whole thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Learn something new every day.
The Sways, the Patrick Sways.
The Sways. At the end of the end credits give special thanks to Robin Williams, who battled alcoholism his whole life.
Yeah.
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 Good touching. Losing Robin.
Yeah.
Man, you care about people pass away in the entertainment business, but losing him was it's terrible.
It was awful. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a nice touch.
And the way we lost him. I mean, it was
right.
Yeah. Well, right. And a man that was suffering and right in front of our eyes all this time, and nobody really saw it.
But when he was professional on screen, man, he's good.
Yeah.
And he did a range of movies that everything. He was box office. He could do it all. He was great. So amazing. So
yeah.
Let's hope we have Joaquin around for decades to come too. So
yes,
keep it together, everybody.
Yeah.
Jonah, all of you guys. Hey, Jack Black's a lot of fun. He looks like he's very stable.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch some of his YouTube stuff.
He seems very capable.
He's a fun guy. Yeah.
So we got Joaquin Phoenix, Jonah Hill, Jack Black. Any other really big names? That's probably the three biggest names in here.
Well, the actress, she was in the.
Girl with the dragon tattoo.
She's pretty well known. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we got some big names in here, and they got them all for $3.5 million for the entire movie. So yeah, like I say, this is a passion project. These are, you gotta love it for that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope they make more of them. Yeah. Lots of great stories to be told. It's just they don't get the time of day because who knows why? Because they don't get that kind of star quality actors cast. Who knows? They just.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Are we done with Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far?
I think we're done.
I think we're done. I think we rang that out for as long as we could. My name is Steve. Next week, Monday at noon, we're covering Alita, Battle Angel. I picked that very recently for for Christian and Greg, and I can't wait to talk about it. Wow, we're filming this right now in September, and that won't be released until December.
Wow.
Yeah.
Steve, you're like a squirrel. You're just packing away some episodes for winter.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's going to be awesome.
Digital squirrely.
That's right. So
Digital squirrely.
when I die, the show will just keep releasing for years.
Yeah. He's got like 3,000 episodes that we haven't even seen that's going to be coming out for years to come. Yeah.
It's going to be. I'm ready for the next pandemic.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we know we can do this in person and apart. So
we can do this in person and apart.
Yeah. We can get it done.
Anyway, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys, and thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Hey, peace.
Bye-bye.